Namaste. Myself, Dr. N. Satish Kumar, Associate Professor of Canara Engineering College, Mangaluru, and me along with my colleague, Mr. Ganesh Magera, we developed this video in order to make students familiar with the use of psychrometric chart. So in this video, we made use of animations so that students can easily understand how to locate a point on the psychrometric chart and how to read the various property values at that point. So we hope this video will be very useful for the students. Now, before we proceed to study or to read property values using this psychrometric chart, let us understand this psychrometric chart first. Let us see what are the various property values or properties of air that can be obtained by reading this chart. Now let us begin from the axis at the bottom, wherein you can see graduated scale from 0 to 50, right? So each main division 5, 10, 15 like that, and again it is subdivided into 5 equal parts. This is nothing but the dry bulb temperature. So it increases from left to right. So there are 50 divisions are there, and through each of these divisions you can see vertical lines drawn from bottom to the top. So these vertical lines are nothing but constant DBT lines. Means if you take any line, throughout the DBT is same. Now let us take the example of 30-degree DBT line. You can see on the chart, right? So the 30 degree throughout it, if you take any point on that line, vertical line, the DBT is 30 degree, right? So now one more example, 40 degree. So all these vertical lines, so they are the constant DBT lines. Now let us come to the next property. So come to the right side, vertical axis, right? There you have the graduations from 0.00 to 0.028 in steps of 0.001. So this is nothing but specific humidity axis, right? So specific humidity is nothing but mass of water vapor per unit mass of dry air. Mass of water vapor per unit mass of dry air. So it is kg per kg of dry air. So now through all these points, so horizontal lines are drawn. Horizontal lines are drawn. You can see equally spaced horizontal lines are drawn from right to left. So these lines are nothing but constant specific humidity lines. So specific humidity remains constant throughout that line. Okay. Now moving further, you see saturation line, that curve, right? So that is called a saturation line. Here the relative humidity is 100%. That means this line represents saturated air condition. What is saturated air? So air is said to be saturated when the partial pressure of water vapor in the air is equal to the saturation pressure at the given temperature, right? So then air is called as saturated. So this line indicates the saturation line. Now below that there are similar curves are there, right? All those curves or lines, so they are called as relative humidity lines. Now saturation line is 100% relative humidity. So the very next line below that is 90% relative humidity or 90% RH. Below that 80 and below that 70, 60 and so on. So only two lines I have marked, 90% and 70% RH. So at any point on those lines, right, the relative humidity is what it is indicated on that line. For 90% RH line, so throughout that line, at any point, the RH is 90%. Now next is wet bulb temperature lines. So all those blue colored inclined lines, they are the wet bulb temperature lines. Then how to read this wet bulb temperature? So here on this psychrometric chart, on the saturation line, you can see there are markings 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So these are the temperature corresponding to WBT. But here this 5, if you come down from that saturation line, or 10, bottom also it is coinciding with the DBT. Means actually it can be read from the DBT axis itself. But only thing is, DBT lines are the vertical lines, but WBT lines, you have to go from the DBT reading to vertically up till it reaches the or touches the saturation line. From that point you have to go along this inclined blue color lines. So here only 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 are shown as the constant WBT lines. So on that line, at any point the WBT remains same. Now suppose if you want in between, for example 13, right? So then you have to count 11 from 10, 11, 12, 13, where it touches the saturation line. From there you have to draw a parallel line to this blue line. So that indicates the constant WBT line of 13 degree. So anything, for example, if you want 24, 23, so you have to draw that line. Okay. Now there are some thin blue colored lines are there. So at some point, so these vertical lines may touch or intersect exactly at the point of intersection of those light blue colored lines on the saturation line. Then that blue colored line itself may represent WBT at few temperature points, not at all points. For example, if you check 29, so where it touches the saturation line is different from that blue colored, light blue colored lines. So in that case you draw a separate parallel line to the dark blue colored lines. Then what is that light blue colored lines? So they are nothing but the constant enthalpy lines. So it starts from 15 to 100, 15 to 25 here, the next step 25 to 40, 40 to 100, right? So that each division, right? So you have to find out what is the graduations, to how many parts it is divided. For example, from 15 to 25, it is divided into 5 equal parts, means each is 2, 15, next 17, 19, 21, 23 and 25. Whereas 25 to 40, so 15 gap is there and it is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. So 15 by 6. So that is how you have to read. So these lines are the constant enthalpy lines. Next is constant DPT lines. So how to read DPT? So DPT also read from the DBT axis itself. For example, 5 degree DPT if you want, first mark 5 degree on DBT scale, go up till it touches the saturation line. Now from this point you have to go horizontally like this, from left to right. So this line throughout, it is constant DPT line. Any temperature if you want, you have to go from DBT scale vertically up till it touches the saturation line. Then you have to go horizontally parallel to the specific humidity lines. So they indicate constant DPT lines. Here I have shown only two lines, 5 degree DPT and 10 degree, and I will show only small length, but throughout that line, throughout the length, that line represents the constant DPT. Okay. Okay, now let us study how to locate a point on the psychrometric chart, and from that point or on that point how to find out other property values. So if you have to locate a point on the psychrometric chart, any two parameters has to be known. So how many parameters are there here? You have DBT, you have WBT, you have DPT, specific humidity, RH or relative humidity, enthalpy. So almost 6 parameters. Out of 6, if any 2 are given, easily you can locate that point and you can find out the remaining 4. So let us begin from 25 degree DBT and 18 degree WBT. So in order to locate 25 degree DBT, so you have to read in the bottom axis. So 25 degree you can see. So you have to go in the upward direction along that, because the entire vertical line is 25 degree, but you don't know where to stop. So just keep it in mind about that line. Then let us choose 18 degree WBT. So 18 is between 15 and 20. So up from 15, third line. So you have to go up like this, where it intersects the saturation line. From that point you have to go, you see that is 18 degree WBT now, right? From that point you have to move along the WBT line, and where it intersects, so that is the oval shape point that is covered by oval shape. So that is a point showing the state 25 degree DBT and 18 degree WBT. Now once you locate this point, now you can find out other parameters like omega. This is just you have to, from that point you have to move to the right till it intersects the omega axis, and it is very close to 0.010 value. That is the value of omega. Now to find out RH value, so you have to imagine a parallel line to the already given RH lines. So this point happens to be between RH line of 50 and 60, but it is more nearer to 50% line. So if you just approximately find out the value of relative humidity at that point, so it will be around 52%. Suppose if you cannot be able to approximate, then what you can do is you can keep a scale between 50% and 60% along WBT line. First calculate total distance gap, then find out what is the gap between that point and 50% line, and then you can interpolate that based on that distance, and you can find out what is that RH at that point. And if you want to DPT, go to the right from that point and then come down, and that indicates the temperature, dew point temperature at that condition. So this is how you have to locate a point and you have to find out the other property values using psychrometric chart. There is one more, that is enthalpy. So you have to extend the WBT lines, and it intersects at the enthalpy scale at 52. So 52 is the enthalpy at that point. Okay. Now let us take one more combination of DBT and DPT. So DBT already you know, so you have to locate 20 degree on the DBT axis and you have to go up, right? So entire line you have to keep it in your mind in the beginning. Then 10 degree DPT. So to measure DPT, that also you have to locate 10 degree on DBT scale first. Then you have to go up till it intersects the saturation line. So that point is 10 DPT now. So DPT, constant DPT line is from that point, it moves towards right horizontally. So you have to stop at the intersection of the 20 degree DBT to get that point which is marked with the oval shape. Now once you mark this point, now your job is done. So just extend that to the right. So you can find out omega. So that point is between 0.007 and 0.008. Maybe 0.0078 because it is very close to 0.008. So approximately you have to take the value. And then if you want WBT, so from that point you have to move along the constant WBT line till it intersects saturation line. So there you may not be able to read what exactly the number, because numbering is not there. So in that case you come down. So if you come down, so it reads as 14 degree WBT. So reading from DBT scale itself, But how you got that point, that is very important. So you from that point, you have to move along the WBT line till it intersects the saturation line, then you have to come down. Further, if you want enthalpy, extend it further, so it becomes, or it intersects the graduation, enthalpy graduation, so at 40, so its value is at 40 kilojoules per kg, right? Now, the relative humidity, so this line, again it is between 50 and 60, but almost midway, but not exactly midway, slightly below that, so you can approximately consider or take it as 54%, okay? So this is how you have to find the other property values by locating a point on the psychrometric chart by using the given condition. Now let us see how to locate when WBT and DPT is given. So example, I have taken 20 degree WBT and 10 degree DPT. So even though if you want to measure WBT and DPT, initially you have to take it along the DBT axis itself. Then you have to go up and then the procedure or method changes. So in order to mark 20 degree WBT, first locate 20 degree DBT point on the DBT axis, then go up like this till it intersects the saturation line. So I have written there 20 degree WBT, right? Now from that point you have to move along the constant WBT line. Now since you don't know where to stop, so just keep that line in your mind, okay? Then I have to mark 10 degree DPT. That means once again I have to locate 10 degree on the DBT scale, right? DBT axis, then go up till it intersects saturation line. Now this is DPT. Now this is DPT point because you are going horizontally to the right. So if you go horizontally to the right, that horizontal line is the constant DPT line. Keep it in your mind. Then that 10 becomes DPT. Suppose if you are moving along the WBT line, then that 10 degree becomes WBT. So that is how you have to understand clearly. Now you have located the point, fine. Now it is very easy to find out the other property values of air at this condition. So next is specific humidity omega. From that point move towards right. So it is between 0.007 and 0.008, maybe between 0.0078 because it is very close to 0.008. Next, if you want to find out dry bulb temperature or DBT, so it is very simple, directly come down, because when a DBT is given, what you used to do, you used to go up to locate that point. The point is located, you want DBT, come down, so its value is around 37.2 degrees, okay, its temperature. Then to enthalpy, extend that WBT line, so it is intersecting at 57.5, and to know the RH, this time it is overlapping exactly with one of the RH lines, that is 20%, so RH at that point is 20%, that is the relative humidity. Now next we will see how to locate a point when DBT and RH is given. For example, 30 degree DBT and 60% RH. So 60% RH line is already there, right? You can see it is already a continuous line is there for 60% RH. 30 degree vertical line is also there. So go along that till it intersects 60% RH, and that is the point. Okay, once you locate the point, then your job is over. You can read WBT. You see, going along that WBT line till it intersects the saturation line, then coming down. So it is 24 degree WBT, right? So it is read from DBT axis itself. Then omega, so just above 0.016, you can read that. Then DPT, go to the left first, then come down, and it is 21 degree. Okay, and enthalpy, extend that, it is around 73 kilojoules per kg. So this is how you have to locate a point and you have to find out the other parameter. So this will be very, very useful when we solve air conditioning problems in the next lecture series. So I request all of you to go through this lecture again and try to use this video and use a psychrometric chart, locate the points and try to find out other parameters. Okay, thank you.